Ayubovan, I'm so glad to see you all here today. I'm humbled and privileged to speak to such a large audience, an audience which may very well contain the next president of Sri Lanka by the wake of 22nd of September. So I have prepared some notes to ensure that I cover everything I need to say. Today, I want to take this opportunity to discuss a few key areas that concern the youth of this country. As an entrepreneur, these topics are of paramount importance to the growth we all expect. By profession, I consider myself an entrepreneur, not a lecturer. Lecturer is my part-time hobby. Okay, first of all, why am I here? I am here because we are all driven by hope. The hope that one day we will live the life we deserve for the effort that we put in. I have seen governments come and go. My first political experience was in 1993 when President Ranasinghe Premadasa was murdered and people cheered his death for some reason. That was a shocking experience for me. From that point on, politics and politicians in Sri Lanka delivered shock after shock to its citizens. Something I felt and experienced firsthand. Let's come back to that in a short while. As a person, I urge to seek change, challenge the status quo, and feel a sense of accomplishment once the mission is achieved has always been in my blood. No one could tell me what to do. I felt the need to reinvent the wheel myself, which, by the way, I don't recommend. That is why I chose to create my own future, becoming an entrepreneur as soon as I left school, starting from the frontmost bedroom of my house. Challenges as an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, I lacked few things. I lacked exposure, I lacked knowledge, and I lacked access to funding. Everything was trial and error. Even the internet was scarce. Believe it or not, we created websites without having internet connections at our office or at home. We used internet cafes to upload clients' websites. Those were humble beginnings, but the experience was invaluable. Luckily, I was blessed with few great teachers who allowed me to experience the world beyond through English. By sheer will, I navigated the forest of ignorance, eventually completing my master's degree. Since my A-levels, I have never asked my parents for financial support. Today's youth and entrepreneurship. Fast forward 18 years, I see today's youth with better access to knowledge, but not the exposure or easy access to funding to make their dreams a reality. Of course, an urban minority is privileged. But most youth with entrepreneurial spirit struggle to move forward without proper guidance, exposure, and funding. Compared to neighboring countries, we have not prioritized or given enough prominence to enabling our young entrepreneurs to develop themselves as quickly as they could. Yes, true, entrepreneurs are rare, and only a small portion of them succeed. But entrepreneurship is the way forward for a country to achieve prosperity. Any government in power must understand that this and strive to foster a culture of entrepreneurship across the nation, enabling more young people to realize their dreams, thereby increasing the chances of successful startups in the long run. Government's role. I do not expect the government to provide handouts of any kind once a person is of age to contribute to the economy. However, it is the government's responsibility to ensure the following: foster a culture of entrepreneurship, provide fair access through education system to master English, provide equal access to high-speed internet, create easier access to funding by fostering an environment conducive to angel investors, venture capitalists, and bank loans without requiring collateral. That is in the policy of NPP. Offer guidance and closely monitor growth. Provide opportunities for exposure. Offer incentives to encourage entrepreneurship. Improve the education system to provide skilled labor at the required phase. Conduct awareness programs for parents. Ensure the government does not interfere or compete in the same markets. digitize processes and reduce bureaucracy, eradicate corruption, and eliminate undue delay. Now let's move on to the NPP's vision. Many political parties over the years have had similar policies in their manifestos. But the NPP went a step further by using the phrase Vivasayakatva Unmadaya, a cultural paradigm shift in how people view entrepreneurship. This caught my attention. All countries that have achieved prosperity, whether USA, China, Germany, India, which is now cementing its place as a financial superpower, has gone through this phase. It's a common characteristic of national growth. So I researched and analyzed the NPP's proposals. I didn't waste time reading other manifestos because having it written down is one thing, but implementing is another. The parties in power had their chance for several decades, but left us with a bankrupt nation, forcing ambitious youth to leave in search of better opportunities abroad. Let us not place the blame game entirely on one regime. It has been a collective effort across all the governments that led us from a developing nation to a bankrupt one. None have been able to set us on the path to becoming a developed country. Why NPP then? What do you think NPP can make this change? Honestly, I can't predict. However, as informed citizens, we cannot argue and fight with a corrupt regime focused on personal gain rather than the people's well-being. With NPP, the situation is different. You can engage with them through principles and policies. Most of their leaders have demonstrated the willingness to listen and adapt. None of them are here for personal gain. Otherwise, they could have easily secured ministerial portfolios by cutting deals with corrupt officials. Like all humans, they will make mistakes. But having a government that listens and adapts to its people needs present ample opportunities to correct those mistakes. It's our duty to hold them accountable. The role of citizens. I urge everyone here to question, criticize, and challenge. Don't blindly trust government or party. Practice critical thinking and make your voice heard to keep your representatives accountable. NPP will face unprecedented challenges. From what I have observed, they don't have a voter base that will blindly support whatever they do. Since the 2015 presidential election, people have searching for an alternative leader. Even though I wasn't part of the Hatana Malakshya, I believe most of them wanted someone outside the political system to fix things. But they didn't practice critical thinking, and that's how we ended up in trouble. I see a drastic difference in Anura Kumara Disanayaka. Over the years, he has groomed himself to act presidential. With over 20 years of experience as a member of parliament with leading ministries, I have no reason to doubt that he will give his best to deliver on his promises. But willingness alone isn't enough. You need a sound strategy encompassing every aspect of nation building. Given the educated team around him, including my friend Chaturanga, Eranga, dynamic leaders like Eranga, Mahesh, and many others who I have known personally, as well as on the internet and social media, I believe Anura is in good company. However, I will keep questioning and challenging their every step because we cannot afford to make the same mistake again. Conclusion. Finally, I must say something about the economic crisis as well. Sri Lanka does not have an economic problem, it has a political problem. The collapsed economy is merely a symptom. Change the political culture and the economy will heal itself in the mid to long term. But in the short term, we may have to follow paths laid out by others. But we can always question, critique, and rebel. One global brand, one tech unicorn emerging from Sri Lanka through ethical entrepreneurship could solve our economic problems. Let's aim high and win the world. I wish NPP the best of luck in making that happen. But remember, we are the youth, we are awake, and we are watching. Thank you.